Morning, everybody. Eric Wilson back with you today with iSell Health Incorporated with our continuing information over the next couple of weeks of questions about health insurance. Today, our topic is health savings accounts. Health savings accounts are fairly new to the health insurance industry. They started back under the George H.W. Bush administration. Uh, in Medicare legislation, actually, where they came up there. They were designed. Senator Archer, out of Texas, I believe he was from Texas, was charged with the idea of trying to figure out how to make health insurance more affordable without giving up, catastrophic coverage. Senator Archer realized that the two most expensive parts of the health plan were, you know, doctor visits and prescriptions is what was inflating the cost. He was completely correct with that. There are people who go to the doctor for everything. There are, some people think, medications are expensive. So he realized if you could kind of remove that from the equation, it would bring costs down. And so initially, these things were called Archer MSAs, medical savings accounts instead of health savings accounts. Now, they asked, Senator Archer, how do we make it worth people's while to give up the luxury of a copay that we've had for all these years, and the prescription coverage? He said you have to make it worth their while. So he came up with this concept here. You remove, you go to what's called a high deductible health plan, usually a $5,000 deductible. 25 actually for an individual has to have a minimum of 1,200 to qualify as an HSA, but 5,000 for a family seems to be kind of the norm. Uh, and then you fund the savings account portion like an IRA. I'm going to show you here on the whiteboard. I'm going to adjust my whiteboard here. You might not see me here for the whole thing here as I do this here, but let's talk about the other side first. Yeah, there you have it. You have two sides basically. You have on this side here. Here you have your health insurance, your regular health insurance, high deductible insurance, $1,200 deductible, $2,400 for the family. Uh, with that, everything applies to your deductible. So on this plan here that I'm showing here, let's say you have a $2,400 family deductible. And like I said, I have a $5,000 deductible for my family, but let's just pretend it's $2,400. You pay for everything up to $2,400, and then they're 100% coverage thereafter. So if you have, a $100,000 surgery, it costs you $2,400, then you're done. A lot of copay plans, you have a $2,500 deductible or $1,500 deductible, 80, 20%, but when it's all said and done, you're paying the same thing, okay? Uh, then to make it worth your while, he gives you the savings account. This portion here functions kind of like a medical IRA, okay, the savings account portion. Like an IRA, you put money in it, tax deferred, it goes in tax deferred, it comes out tax deferred if you use it for a medical expense. So you fund it. The law says currently for an individual in 2012 you can put in $3,100 and $6,250 for a family. It's going to increase a little bit in 2013. Numbers have already been out to $3,250 for an individual and $6,450 for a family. Also, if you're over age 55, they let you catch up. They let you throw an extra $1,000 in there if you choose to. Um, so with that, now with the savings account portion, they give you typically like a debit card type thing now, and you can use it for any kind of medical expense. So I don't use it for doctor visits per se because I don't mind paying $100, but you can. If you have to go to a doctor visit and your doctor visit is $150 or $200 or $600, you use your debit card to pay for it, and it comes out of this fund if you funded it. And let's say you have $5,000 in the account. All right, you put $5,000 in there. That just comes off of that amount that you put in there. Unlike some of you that have had flex spending accounts at work, where it was use it or lose it every year, on a health savings account, the money rolls every year. So you could put $6,450 in it every year and just let it sit there and just keep you taking, it's a tax write-off if you need to write off. You can also use it for some other things such as dental and vision if you needed that, tax deferred, pulling it out there. Under the healthcare law, the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, if you will, you can no longer use these things for over-the-counter medication. You used to be able to. Aspirin, Tylenol, cough syrup. You used to use it for that, but I again wouldn't use it for that because I have mine designed to cover my deductible in case I ever have a major illness. But you could now, you cannot. That's one of the. And I don't know if anybody really cares about a $10 item or a $5 item or a $20 item when you're looking at your major medical. But a very nice thing. They're also priced significantly less. I ran a quote for my family here in Romeoville, Illinois, and I have one of these here, and I pay just under $300 a month for that plan. A major medical plan with copays and doctor visits is about 550, 600, 575, depending upon which carrier you went with. So you can see the significant savings in premium. Now these plans aren't for everybody. If you're one of those people that do happen to go to the doctor a lot, I had a client who called me and wanted one of these plans, but she went to the doctor 32 times last year, she said. So, if you go to the doctor 32 times a year, it's usually only 52 weeks. But if you go to the doctor 32 times a year, probably not the right plan for you, quite honestly. But if you're like, most people see a doctor 2, 3 times a year, probably not a bad thing, especially if your doctor visits are a couple $100 now. Also, under the Affordable Care Act, one provision that's in there that now applies to health savings accounts is preventative care. So if you get anything preventative done, that is covered under the insurance side, under this part over here, regardless of the deductible, without a copay. So if you need to get a pap smear or a mammogram or a prostate exam, colonoscopy, those things are all covered at 100%, without a copay. I hate to use the word free when you hear people talk about it. They say, well, you get free preventative care. It's not free. It's in the premium someplace. There's nothing free, so don't get caught up in that. But so regardless of the copay, a mammogram for a female would be covered at 100%. Prostate exam 100%. At least the exam. Now, if they find something, I know there was an article in, I believe it was USA Today recently, about a guy who had to pay for a colonoscopy. What happened in that situation was his colonoscopy itself was there was no charge for it, but they found some stuff while they got in there, and of course there was a charge for that to clean that up there, and that was a few $1,000s for the guy. So don't think it's completely. If you have something done, the whole thing may or may not be covered completely. The exam itself is covered completely, but if they find it here doing additional work, then you're looking at charges. Just like immunizations for your kids, some shots are covered, some of them aren't covered. The ones that are required will be covered without a copay. The HPV is one that's usually not covered. That's becoming more of a common shot or immunization. That one's not covered yet under the law. So just a couple things I want to tell you about their health savings accounts. Great value. Also, when you look at it, it's actually a little bit more of a common sense type of insurance. When you think of, like, say, your car insurance doesn't pay for your oil changes or a tune-up, but you still get it done every 3,000 miles or so. Your homeowner's insurance doesn't pay if your oven breaks, but you still get a fixer. So it's kind of, designed, the way insurance initially was probably originally designed with, more of a catastrophic feel to it there to cover the big things that you couldn't afford to pay for. Either way, that's a quick little thing on health savings accounts. Eric Wilson, iSelf Incorporated. We're going to take Friday tomorrow off. Next week begins September, so that's Life Insurance Awareness Month. So next week we're going to talk. We're going to spend a couple days on life insurance and term insurance and using life insurance as college funding and an investment. Hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy your Labor Day. I'll be back next week. Thank you.